What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the first studio album in nearly 10 years, well going on 10 years, from the band Modest Mouse. A lot of people's favorite bands, a lot of people have told me that they are really looking forward to this record. I know I was highly anticipating it after the release of the single Lampshades on Fire. This new album is called Strangers to Ourselves. If there's one thing that can always be said for Modest Mouse, it's that they're never afraid to express who they truly are through their music. No matter how odd or unique the idea may be, they tend to let it bleed through into the music no matter what, and over the years, I wouldn't call myself a massive fan. In fact, some of their stuff is pretty hit or miss for me, but I can always appreciate what they do, their art that they present us with. I've been listening to these guys since 2006, but I'll be honest with you, I've never been head over heels for them. I'm not downplaying them by any means, I've just found some of their material tough to get into. I mean, obviously there is a light and catchy side of this group, a more spirited version, and I think that the single Lampshades on Fire is a prime example of that. It's just that frontman Isaac Brock's lyrics can sometimes get tiresome. Sometimes I like to just sit down and listen to music without constantly having to decipher what's going on, or look for a deeper meaning, or have to decode, pick apart something, and I've felt like on some of their past records, I've had a hard time of doing that. I have to sit there and read along with the lyrics. And a positive thing is that I don't feel that here on this new record. Maybe it's just because some of their albums I haven't revisited in quite a while. Several of them I did in preparation for this review, but I'm having a good time with this new album, Strangers to Ourselves. Before I go any further, I just want to say that I don't think that Modest Mouse are this super complicated and hard to get into band. I'm just telling you how I've felt about some of their past material. Strangers to Ourselves is a damn solid record. Is it their best one yet? Anyone could sit here and argue about it all day, but do you really want to see me talk about if the moon in Antarctica is as good or better than Good News for people who love bad news, etc., etc.? I don't think so. The new album starts off a little bit slow. It takes a minute to kind of really pull me in, but it definitely gets there. The mood shifts dramatically in the album's second track, which is the lead single Lampshades on Fire. Hands down my favorite single of 2015 so far. It's got everything that I could possibly want in a track. I mean, yes, the lyrics on this definitely are odd, but it's still one of the most earwormy things I've ever heard. Brock's personality is just so flamboyant and spirited, and I absolutely love and cherish that. The music surrounding this piece is definitely mesmerizing as well. It's almost kind of the sound that I expected them to come back with, if that makes any sense. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but I definitely expected something lively for some reason. That doesn't mean that I'm disappointed in the fact that the album took a lot of different turns, covered a lot of different territory. In fact, I'm loving some of the more down-to-earth and gentle moments on the LP where the band kind of share their thoughts on things that they happen to be very passionate about. If you've heard the song Coyotes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These guys, and most likely Brock in particular, have shown that they truly do care about things of nature, the state of the planet that they live in. I mean, how many bands their size would set apart a spot on their record to talk about the plight of a misunderstood animal? Well, Modest Mouse to the rescue, because this song truly gets the job done. I would say Shit in Your Cut is another one of the tracks that is very important to this record's identity, coming across as a bit biting and snarky, a recollection, a tale, if you will, leading perfectly into one of my favorite moments on this LP, Pistol. The sexually charged track Pistol is just fantastic. It's chuckle-worthy, and it features some of those more charismatic vocals that fans of the band have definitely come to love and appreciate. I can't even begin to describe the Middle Eastern-leaning instrumental and the vibe that I'm picking up from this track, but just know that I genuinely appreciate it. It's noisy and creative, and what else can I say? I really dig it. I will say this though, new fans to this band, definitely don't start with this track if you're planning on checking out their material. Maybe start with some of the singles. There's a certain self-awareness about some of these tracks that really helps songs like The Ground Walks with Time in a Box, and of course the closing track, Of Course We Know. The former gets into a really solid groove in its 6-minute run here on this track. It captures this almost perfect guitar tone and really a nice bass rhythm too that not only backs this track but nearly steals the show. I really appreciate Brock's sharp and intelligent writing here on this one. It's really anything you could ask for if you've been a fan of this band for a while, and honestly, the song just puts a smile on my face. It puts me in a good mood while I'm listening to it. I don't feel like it overstays that run at all. It definitely justifies all 6 minutes of it, and it's probably one of my top favorites here on the LP. I mentioned the closing track, Of Course We Know, being self-aware, and it does so in an almost apathetic way, kind of conveying this seemingly broken spirit with its dreary, but not by any means dull instrumentation. It's a somber way to close out this record, but don't go into it expecting a snooze fest just because it's one of the slower tracks. The theatrical vibe of the song Sugar Boats is the exact amount of spunk that I love seeing from Modest Mouse. It gets injected all over this track and it's perfect. It definitely feels like it could have fit on one of their records that came out during the mid-2000s, and I think longtime fans of the band will really appreciate this tune. Pups to Dust and The Best Room are among the tracks that I'm liking, the latter of those seeing the band working in more of a traditional and more normal alternative rock vein. That's not an insult, I swear. I don't mean for it to sound like I'm saying that this track is formulaic by any means, and in fact it definitely does play around more in its second half, but it does start off in, I guess, a more traditional sense. And its second half, kind of the middle section of this song, I like that they throw in kind of the weird keyboard hits that don't exactly fit with the rest of the song, the kind of offbeat and kind of the stuttering drum patterns that back this song as well. However, there is a slight lull near the end of this record, Strangers to Ourselves. I did like some of the guitar and synth work on the track Wicked Campaign, but the vocals just did not click with me. They didn't bring any sense of urgency to the table. It's an average at best song that really seems to draw influence from the modern indie and alternative rock world, and it really just reminds me of other stuff that I've already heard, and that's probably why I don't see myself coming back to it in the future. Maybe see myself skipping over it when I revisit this album in the future as well. The cut that follows is titled Be Brave, and it's got a likable enough chorus, but I just don't see that as being enough to carry the entire song. God is an Indian and You're an Asshole is the folk-leaning romp that should be good for a few laughs for longtime fans of the band that appreciate their quirkiness, and not to say that I'm hating this track by any means. It's just a short little one that doesn't do that much for me. The final track that I'm going to mention on the record might remind you of a childhood story, The Tortoise and the Hare, mainly because it's a play on that. The Tortoise and the Tourist. Say that title 5 times fast, I dare you. The Tortoise and the Tourist. 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 The Tortoise and the... The bass line on this track jumped out to me more on this track, almost more than any of the other tracks on this record combined, but I also can't discredit the guitar and drum on the track. The guitar slices things open right off the bat and features seemingly just the right amount of reverb, angst, and attitude that this track really needed. It does slightly irk me that this song reminds me so much lyrically of the Death Cab for Cutie track You Are a Tourist, kind of talking about how we are a tourist in our own minds and how we feel like that sometimes, but honestly, once I listen to this song more and more, the title and just the similarities kind of got outshadowed by the awesome content that the song provides us. Like I said, he's speaking of how we sometimes feel like a tourist in our own mind, dropping the album's title and stating, we are strangers to ourselves, which I really do like. I like to think about that. Honestly, it's one of those moments that really just got the gears in my brain turning and just makes me think about times whenever we don't know ourselves anymore for some reasons, or else we feel like we don't know ourselves. Maybe it's something that we did that's out of the ordinary for us. It's not typical of our personality, or maybe we've slowly kind of looked back on things, reflected, and noticed how we've changed over the years. It's just something that's really cool to think about, and I love it whenever music challenges me and makes me think in ways like that. So, gotta say that this is one of my favorites on the album, Strangers to Ourselves. Modest Mouse, it's great to have you back. Strangers to Ourselves really did make me appreciate a lot of things that I had always loved about this band, and I'm experiencing that all over again, and for that I'm both grateful and relieved. I would say that there's a song for every type of fan under the sun here on this LP, so definitely check it out. It's got my recommendation. Even if I did not enjoy every single song on the album, there's plenty of substance that's going to keep me coming back for more in the coming months, maybe even in the coming years. For me, this new Modest Mouse record, Strangers to Ourselves, is a 4 out of 5. 5. Sorry if my voice sounded a little rough all throughout this review. Make sure you smash the like button on it. Let me know your thoughts on Strangers to Ourselves by Modest Mouse in the comment section down below. What are some of your favorite Modest Mouse tracks? What's your favorite album maybe? I would love to get a discussion going down there in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing to the channel. Of course, you can find me. I just posted a new vlog, so guys, go check that out. You can click to that. It's right below me along with the last review that I did. Those are floating in the annotations there, or you can click the links in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching right here on ARTV. I will see you guys very soon.